Hello, and welcome to another episode of AWS She Builds Tech Skills here in North America. I'm Kandyce Bohannon, one of your hosts that you see quite often, and today I'm joined by another one of our hosts, Jane. So, hey Jane, how's it going?
Hey, it's going good, Kandyce. I'm excited about today. We're going to be talking about reInvent, which is one of my favorite events of the year.
Yeah, I love reInvent. We were just kind of chatting about it. I love it, and it's exhausting, and so you do need to prepare for it. I know it feels like this is early, but this is time. You should be thinking about it. So reInvent is in Vegas. So that's an important thing to know. Vegas is full of like silliness. You don't have to gamble, but like it's full of silliness, great people watching. I'm based in the Twin Cities here in Minnesota. So it's a little different vibe than Vegas. And I'm wondering where everybody else is tuning in from today. So let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you have any questions about reInvent and things like that, drop those in the chat so we can answer them.
Yeah.
Where are you based again, Jane? East Coast.
I'm based out of North Carolina. So yeah, I go to Vegas and it's just like, taking it all in. You take in Vegas and then you take in all the things that they're announcing at reInvent. I know we're going to be getting to some tips later, but one thing I would just call out right away, get your shoes ready. Make sure you've got comfy shoes when you're going there.
And multiple of them and insoles. Like I know these all sound like duh things and maybe even like old people things, but if you were over the age of like 15, you were old enough to need insoles for your shoes in Vegas.
Exactly. I guess I'm curious, we're going to be talking about reInvent. How many people out there have been to reInvent or are going to reInvent this year?
Yeah, let us know if you're going, maybe even how many you've been to. That's always interesting to kind of talk through.
Yeah.
Jane, how many have you been to?
I have been to 3, 2 as a customer, and then 1 working for AWS, which is interesting, sort of seeing the other side. How about you?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like 5 or 6. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was 2 as a customer, and I think this is my 3rd one as an employee, but it runs together because and it is such a different vibe between being a customer and being an employee. Being a customer is better at reInvent, just so you know, you have the better end there. But yeah, you're just like in sessions all day and like learning so much. Then there's like partner parties at night. And so and it's Vegas. So it just ends up kind of like all running together. 5-ish for me.
I agree. I feel like you absorb, and then there's like the next week where you really reflect on everything that you were taking in that week, for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, today we are, as you can tell, we are talking about reInvent today. We should be getting schedule information out pretty soon. So the schedule should be dropping. It doesn't mean you can reserve your seat yet. That happens in a couple more weeks. Look for that maybe middle to late October. And it's important that you're ready to reserve your seat when it happens because there's some sessions that will fill up. Mm-hmm. So for this episode today, what we wanted to do is just showcase a couple of the sessions that we know of where there are women speakers and have them just talk a little bit about what their session is going to be about, why you might want to go. So that's what we have in mind for today.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we've got some mystery guests we're going to be bringing back from backstage in a minute around that. So yeah, I guess, do you want me to go ahead and, Kandyce, I can just jump in, start introducing them if we're good with that?
Absolutely. Do it. And then I'll bring them on board as you say their name.
Cool. So our first guest, we have Sofia Aluma Santos. She is a senior security specialist with AWS. Hey, Sofia. Good to see you.
Hey, y'all. What's up? How's it going?
Cool. And then we also have Swapnil Singh. She is a senior solutions architect. Hey, Swapnil. Good to see you.
Good to be here.
And then we also have Deepti Venuturumilli, and she's also a senior solutions architect. And Deepti, you work on my team, but you're on the West Coast, so we've worked together on several things. It's good to have you here.
Yes, great to be here. Hello, everyone.
Awesome. So you can see that we're trying to kind of touch on different topics, different session types, on the different session types. So now what we'll do is I think we're gonna talk a little bit more about our sessions. Do we want to jump in there? And maybe as we go through, introduce yourself a little bit more than the little one-liner Jane said. And where are you? Where are you calling in from? Where do you live? Not your address. Like, where do you live? And then tell us a little bit about your session. And then as we go through for our audience, if y'all have questions, like pop those in the chat for us. We want you to think about if you want to go to these sessions or not. We'll have a little bit of like, Q&A, live Q&A here, as well as like a little, which session are you most excited about sort of thing. Maybe we'll have some other questions and award type things as well as we go through. So that's kind of what we have in mind for this session.
Cool. Yeah, Kandyce, I was thinking maybe we could start with Sofia. So Sofia, first of all, you're doing what we call a breakout session. There are different types of sessions at reInvent, but can you talk to us about, I guess, first of all, what is a breakout session? And then can you tell us a little bit more about what your session entails?
I'll pull that up now too.
Absolutely. Yeah, sure. So as you mentioned, it is a breakout. So for folks who have not ever been to a reInvent, we have different session types, different elements, like varying degrees of like interactivity. A breakout session is think like a recorded lecture style type of session. So, folks come in, they hear from, the AWS or maybe a partner expert as well, if we're sharing the stage with like a partner or a third party there or a customer. And we just basically share whatever we dig into in that breakout. But it is recorded, so if you ever like to go back, I personally love to. This is my personal, like one of my favorite ways of training and understanding topics that maybe I'm not familiar with, or staying on top of all of our launches across all of AWS. They're recorded, so they always live for eternity in our AWS events like stream. So you'll be able to see, you can see like AWS experts like back from like 2016, 2018, etc. So yeah, that's a breakout.
Awesome. So you're going to be talking about specifically a security focused breakout. Can you talk to us a little bit around what you're presenting on?
Absolutely. So just by way of introduction, you mentioned quickly my role. So I'm a security specialist, and this is essentially inside of our AWS security organization. I lead our infrastructure protection kind of go-to-market for our native security services. So in terms of the infrastructure protection, or if you want to think like network and application type of protection, so these are things like firewalls, web application firewalls, things that protect things on the DNS path. So anything that, from a traffic coming in or coming out perspective, you might want to protect from threats that might be coming into your applications or your workloads, or your resources, and things that you might want to ensure that don't leave, or unauthorized connections or actions that are maybe inside of your network, your VPC, that you want to make sure you're controlling or have visibility into for things that are going out. So that's the kind of group that I represent and I work in. And so I work very closely with the product teams that build some of these native services. But what's also really cool is this team also is the team that is basically building the AWS global backbone. Like think regions, think infrastructure, think new, region launches, like when we launched in, I think it was New Zealand a couple of weeks ago. This is the larger group that, handles the network connectivity. And, we continuously learn across all of our network visibility and all of our existing AWS traffic. We learn, we stay on top of ever evolving threats. And so we build and build securely and we want to make sure we share and continuously innovate to protect, our own infrastructure, but then our own native services that customers can consume to protect their own networks. So yeah, this session is really focused on everything that we've been building and launching in the last 12 months since we last shared a reInvent stage. So think things like we launched this in preview, our Network Security Director service. So this is essentially a GenAI assisted network visibility tool. A lot of customers tell us that they want visibility into everything that they have connected and deployed across their network from a resource perspective, but also they want to understand, is it deployed correctly? Are things potentially misconfigured? And how to triage, like how to know according to AWS best practices. So Shield Network Security Director is something that we launched in preview. Folks can, test it out now in their WAF and Shield console, play around with it. Super, intuitive to use and understand. But what's awesome about it is it has a Amazon Q component, which basically with natural language, they can interact with everything that they're seeing in the service. And just basically if they don't understand or if they want to dig in from a network security perspective, or they see something or they don't see something in the service that they want to know, they can interact essentially with their network. So that's really cool. And so we'll be sharing everything that we've been, innovating and building in that regard, and then just basically across the network portfolio. So think everything that we've been building around our network firewall service, our WAF, Shield, etc. So if you want to like one takeaway for this, this should be like your one-stop shop in terms of in case you missed it, in case you missed like that really cool session in infrastructure protection or network security. You want to know what is launching across the portfolio. Don't miss this session, so at least you know what to dig into later on.
Very cool. I don't know if you saw, but I kind of lit up just a little bit when you said the Q integration. Anyone who's been on the show a few times or watched the show a few times, I'm a Q developer specialist SA. And so it's really cool to me to see Q kind of being everywhere and able to kind of help you with understanding what's actually going on. So that's awesome. Cool. Awesome. Anything else about this one? Jane, or any of our guests, any other questions, or should we go to the next one?
I guess one thing I was sort of thinking, like security, it just seems like, I know a lot of teams have like security specialists, but like, would you recommend people who aren't necessarily, wear that title potentially come here just because it's covering so much? What are your thoughts around like personas or roles that this would be good content for?
Absolutely. This is meant to be kind of a catch-all, kind of foundational session, although it is 300 levels. So we do assume kind of some security awareness, even if it's not inside of AWS. But I would say, we always start with kind of challenges and painting the why, why things are important and what things we're solving for. So even if, some of the things that we dig into aren't, like immediately relevant or you don't understand, I think we always want to make sure we stick to kind of customer and user outcomes and like security outcomes. So absolutely.
Awesome. Very good to know. And also, thanks for touching in on that leveling thing. That was something that I wanted to mention. But when I pulled these slides together, I realized that we're all 300 level. So I didn't do a good job of mixing that part up. I will add that the 300 level is a really nice sweet spot, though. Like think of it as like your junior year. We have 100, 200, 300, 400, and newly added 500 level courses. So I don't know. I think 300 is like a really good sweet spot because you still have some introduction, but you're getting down into some of those details. So
yeah, I would agree. I would say too, like, even if you're not, in my experience, if you're not completely comfortable with something, don't be afraid to jump into a conversation, a breakout session that's a little bit higher than out of your comfort zone, because you might not pick up all of it, but it's a good way to kind of learn a little bit of something new and maybe dive deeper as a follow-up. Nobody's going to be judging if you're not following every single thing. I remember walking into a networking conversation one time at reInvent, and it gave me some good food for thought, even though I was like, okay, about half of this I'm going to have to follow up.
Yeah. That's a really good point. It's all about the learning opportunities and networking, and then in the other way, right? But you're really there to like learn and have fun. So cool.
And I do want to say one more thing, just because I didn't talk to the specific, like the QR codes. So I think the first one's on the left is self-explanatory if you want to go to the catalog and kind of heart or bookmark the session for later. But then there's also the best practices guide. So a lot of our security specialists, I mean, we're in customer conversations all the time, and things that we hear and questions that come up a lot, or questions for guidance and best practices, we take that and we build in, kind of templates, examples, our own security service best practices. So this is something that we've built out of across all our security services. It's a GitHub repo curated by our own AWS security specialists, and we push updates all the time. So think of this as like a complementary resource for other kind of AWS documentation and AWS best practices. This is specific to our security services. So I always like to share this because sometimes folks don't get what they need specifically on like the documentation. So bookmark this if you are interested in some of our security services and just want to know more.
Very cool. Thanks for that. Good. Well, with that, let's go on. Now that we've hit our security's foundational, we're starting there. Let's go on to I think Swapnil. Let's hear a little bit about your session.
Yeah, thank you, Kandyce. So just from introduction perspective, I'm Swapnil Singh. I'm a senior solutions architect here at AWS, based out of Indiana. So if there's anyone from Indiana, hello. Before I dive into the session itself, two things. One, I would like to know how many people in the audience actually draw architecture diagrams or sequence diagrams or network diagrams, for example, and how much time does it take them? Like, think about any time in the past that you've drawn a diagram and how much time it takes. If I had to talk about myself, I'd say like it takes me 4 to 6 hours to get a proper enterprise ready kind of diagram to be able to present to the customer. Now that 4 to 6 hours is a lot of iteration over a diagram. And that's the problem we wanted to solve. That's one of the problems actually we wanted to solve. So in this session, this is a builder session, which I'll talk about in a moment. But in this session, we will be using AI agents to build architecture diagrams, analyze any diagrams that you already have, and be able to either implement organization standards on top of them, or be able to just directly chat with them. What is happening in this architecture? Which services am I using? What is this diagram even doing? Right? So those are the kind of problems we are trying to solve. So let's talk about builder session. What is a builder session? It's a 1-hour small group session where attendees, if you will be attending, you'll be building through small steps in the workshop and build something that would allow you to, for example, use these agents in your own day-to-day lives, right? So you'll learn the techniques, you'll learn the methodologies, the best practices that we will expose you into those workshops, and then you'll be able to reuse them in your own day-to-day work.
Awesome. And Swapnil, how many people are generally in a builder session? Do you just thinking, how quickly should people register if they're interested?
Yeah, great question. So the builder session format is such that there are smaller groups there's a table around which there are 10 attendees, that's it. And there are 5 such tables in the room. So there's a total of 50 in the room, but every table has an AWS expert to help the attendees go through the workshop and to be able to discuss and ask questions. So if you're short on time, that 1 hour is great to actually quickly understand what a service does, how to build it, etc. And you also get like one-on-one discussion opportunity with an AWS expert. So that way it is great.
Cool. Yeah, those are super fun. I really like the builder sessions and the workshops because you get to actually hands-on with an expert right there. So I love that. And I think this is super powerful because to your point about how long you spend on diagrams, 4 to 6 hours, like 2 hours of it is just getting these lines straight, right?
Yeah, exactly. Making all the arrows match and icons align. Yeah,
So
that's
hard. Yeah.
majority of the time. So just to dive a little deeper into the workshop itself, on the right I have here, like we will build AI agents for creating visualizations, creating documentation that accompanies the visualization as well. For example, I added these diagrams on my slide and you have no idea what is going on there, right? No description. That's sometimes the state of our documentation in an enterprise where we don't have much other than the diagram. So you can create documentation from the architecture diagrams. You can create diagram as code as well. So for example, if this was a draw IO diagram, you can create an XML out of the draw IO XML and be able to build new XMLs as well. Then you can, the other example that I have, the whiteboard there. If you are drawing whiteboards in your office setting and discussing what the architecture should look like in the end, you can take that whiteboard and be able to convert it in an actual formal diagram using these AI agents. So we will cover all of this and more fun. I think I see this session as a fun session as well. You're not talking about very serious topics like security, Sofia. But it's very productivity enhancing capability. So I'd love to see more people there.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
I'll add, this is so part of my QDev demos. I do stuff like this using QDev. And I think I know a little bit extra about your session specifically, but you use other things in addition to QDev, I think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this always goes over very well with people. And I moved my whiteboard where I had drawings. I just moved it for the show. I should have left it, but I did that very thing. So I think it's super powerful.
Yeah.
I'm thinking too, if you want to go back to the office after reInvent and be like a superstar showing something magical, this would be a great one to like wow other people with.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, and here is the thing, that we are using these techniques internally at AWS ourselves. So, it's a proven technique. So I'll be interested to get feedback from all of you when you attend.
Very cool. Good. Well, I'm excited about this one because, like I said, this is part of my almost typical demo. Like I often show this one when I'm demoing for people. I use an MCP server from AWS Labs for diagramming,
right?
Or have the picture of my whiteboard that is now across the room,
right?
And kind of show that. So I think this will be very cool for people. Awesome. So next presenter is Deepti. So Deepti, tell us a little bit about, we've got more agents going on here. We're definitely sticking with a little bit of some GenAI, even in the security part. It's everywhere today. Deepti, tell us about your session.
Yep, thank you. So everyone, this is also a builder session. And just like Swapnil has mentioned, and I have been to reInvent about 4 times now, and doing the builder session for the second time in a row, although it's a different topic this year. It's all about data analytics. And by the way, I am Deepti Venuturumilli. I'm based in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm a senior solutions architect. I'm on Jane's team, although I'm on the West. And I have customers all around, like from West until Texas. So I have spread out customers. All right. Now, let's just get into the session, what this is all about, right? So the title itself is Multi-Agent Data Pipelines, and it is also a 300-level session. As Sofia was mentioning, it's a good one to just get in, and it's a 1-hour session to learn about end-to-end data pipeline, how you could build, especially for unstructured data, structured data, what they mean, meaning unstructured like PDF documents or structured data that are in the databases, and then also include data such as images, audio, and video. So often, many organizations, when we speak with the customers, we find that they have so much significant challenges trying to consolidate all these different data types and really gain, derive meaningful insights from them. So in this particular workshop, we show them how easy it could be to really integrate, stitch together these different data types, build a data pipeline using, and also process once the data pipeline is built with multiple agents. So we discuss concepts such as metadata extraction. So once you have the data uploaded, derive what the metadata is, data about the data. For example, if I were to pick a loan document, metadata would include a customer name, loan amount, and date. So it's a way that it makes raw files easily searchable. So we build a data pipeline in steps to take this raw data, clean it up, prepare for its use. Then once we have the data part together, what we build is a data lake. So it's a central place to store all your raw and unprocessed data both together. Then I also placed in about agents. So think of an agent more like a specialized worker, which is powered by generative AI. So each agent has a clear role of its own. In this particular workshop, we will be using a concept of supervisor agent, which is actually orchestrating the entire process, ensuring that the right agent is called at the right time, right? So and that's how we are actually enabling a multi-agent collaboration here, where it's just like team of specialists working together collaboratively to handle complex tasks.
Awesome.
Oh, go ahead, Candyce. I'll let you.
I'm just so excited that you said the thing about the supervisor agent. That is a thing that I'm working on. I'm like in my spare time, like I have all of these, again, QDev. This is where I live. I have my custom agents, and then you have to start to figure out how do you make them kind of like a fleet of agents where they can live together. And so I'm very interested in your supervisor agent, and maybe we can compare notes after this. Very curious about that. It's cool.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Just Deepti, thinking, coming into this, like, because it's a builder fair, like, if I'm coming to that, do I need to do any homework? Like, is there any kind of suggestions around, like, you should have a background in this service or that service, or could I come in cold and just, learn as I go?
So since data strategy, data analytics has been so rampant recently, even more, it has garnered more attention. It's always good to just brush up on few of the data architecture concepts, but certainly you could get into the session, and you will see how that is seamlessly positioned in terms of introducing the services that we will be using. For example, we'll be using Amazon Bedrock agents, and so S3 or Amazon S3 or AWS Lambda. So it's good if you have some familiarity, but totally you can just, as Jane mentioned earlier in the show, you could just drop in, be there, be present, and then we can always help you, how to navigate through the workshop.
Yeah, and I think it's a good call. Like, I will say I have been in workshops where it felt like everybody knew all about the subject or what we were talking about, and I didn't. And so I had questions, but then sometimes was afraid to ask them, just to be upfront. And so, just something I would say is, like, if you're going to be going to this, like, don't be afraid. Like,
yes,
there's no dumb questions. Like, please, lean into the people.
Very cool. Can I ask just one question though? What is your pipeline? Like, is it a series of lambdas that calls the next thing? I just get curious. So
yeah, that is correct. So one, we are trying to have different data sets uploaded, different data types too, right? PDF, images, when we are processing the loan document, and then how we have different lambdas work in tandem to understand, to extract the data out of them and consolidate the data together. So all of that part is the data pipeline.
okay, cool. I'm also realizing something that I kind of want to point out, and I should have pointed out for the others as well. The beginning, so a couple of like decoder ring sort of things. We talked about the 300 level is like a junior in high school, a junior in AWS university or something. So that's what this part back here means. And then yours, Deepti, starts with SMB. Can you tell the audience what that means, just in case people don't know?
For sure. I work in an organization where we help our commercial customers, and often in the segment of mid-market, like small and medium business customers. And that way, I work with various industries, including healthcare, retail, finance. So we have a huge set of customers that we work. And this session is mainly being hosted through SMB vertical. However, it is open for everyone, and this actually is a financial. We will be going through a lens of financial customer, and the final outcome is about using natural language questions and trying to understand how a loan document could be processed. So it's actually for everyone.
Cool. Awesome.
That is so cool. I've been to reInvent like 4 or 5 times now, and I had no idea we had an SMB track. So I'm going to be looking out for that.
The things we learn. And then Swapnil, was yours architecture? Is that what your?
That is correct. Yeah, it's part of an architecture track, based on best practices on architecture and the diagramming that we do.
And the letters are ARC. Is that what we do? Okay, perfect. And then Sofia, yours is pretty obvious, but just for completeness, let's do this.
SEC, security, baby.
Cool. Just thought that was kind of worth calling out. There are other tracks, I think is what we call them, besides the ones that we're showcasing here today, of course. When I looked at the session agenda, it's not an agenda yet, the session guide catalog, I think is what it's called right now. There's like 1,500 sessions already. So again, to my point, also I'm a freak about planning, so maybe that's a me thing, but I think that you should start, it's not a me thing, Sofia likes to plan too. I don't know. I just like to start looking at it already and making sure that I'm covering all the different bases that I want to look into. So I don't know. I think it's important just to get started soon and kind of have an understanding of what those things mean.
At a later stage, you also want to plan which hotel you will be at attending one session and how long it will take you to get to another session, right? Because it's so spread across, you want to plan it efficiently so that you're not walking back and forth, 10,000 steps for every other session.
Yeah. That's a very good call. So when we'll do some tips at the end of the show, and this is a really good one, is like, look, when you're really scheduling, look at how far apart your sessions are. And if you need to get to Mandalay Bay and you're at the Venetian, what is that like? I would buffer probably a whole hour, like not even kidding. I stayed at Mandalay Bay last year. It was tough to get, most everything is in the Venetian. So there are some things over in Mandalay Bay, but it was that I learned that the very hard way last year. I think I got a pedicure and a massage the week after reInvent. So.
That's great.
Maybe they'll offer them during the conference this year.
That would be great.
Better than free tattoos, I would say. Nothing against tattoos, I have them, but like pedicure, rubs. Okay. So then the next one, I think actually it's me.
I think you're up next, Kandyce. Yeah.
It's me. So I am doing a chalk. Guess the topic. It's what I talk about throughout everything every day, I feel like, is Amazon Q. And so in chalk talks, these are different from some of the other ones because it's super interactive. Like my partner and I are like coming up with what is our demo, what are we going to talk about and things like that. But we really I can go off script anytime. You're watching me right now. Like I can go off script and go down whatever rabbit hole you want to go down, wherever you want to go. So we are putting together, our talk track and things like that. And we're trying to talk about how we can use a lot of custom agents. I'm obsessed with custom agents right now. Next week on our show, I'll be demoing my custom agents and my orchestrator. as long as I get it fully working. Right now it's not. It'll be fine. But it's going to be a lot about custom agents and where do they fit into the entire SDLC. So I love the Q developer CLI. We'll, dive into some of the best practices that we're kind of pitching to our customers, coaching more, not pitching. Different things that we've heard that we found are really good to go over. So that's what we'll be doing. You'll see mine is my prefix, I guess is what we call it, is DVT. I think that stands for developer tools, I think. So this is where you'll find a lot of the Q, Kiro, probably some Amplify, all of those sorts of services. You'll find those in the DVT sessions. Yeah. So I'm super excited. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Candyce, just thinking like, do you have any suggestions of somebody who's looking at QCLI versus like Kiro tracks, and should they be doing both? Like,
I think do both because we have Q developer in the IDE, we have Q CLI, and we have Kiro. And then this isn't even touching on Q business and Q for QuickSight, which we talked about last week. I think that was last week, right, Jane?
Yeah.
So just in the Q dev family, we have 3, I call it flavors. And there's really something like we're really trying to meet developers where they are and make sure that they have the tools that they want to do their jobs the way they want to do them. Me, though, my pick every time is the CLI. Like, I love it. I think Kiro is very cool, and it's our new IDE coding companion. It's very cool, and it leans you heavily into the spec-driven development space, which is another rabbit hole that we could go down. And it's really cool. I like that. But for me, even when I'm using Kiro, I have the CLI open at the bottom as well. So I use them in tandem. Like I like Kiro to help me build out my specs. And then I like to use Q to like actually execute and analyze and make sure that we're covering all the bases. So it depends. The age-old like computer science answer, it depends.
That's been true for 20-something years in tech. It always depends. Yeah.
Yeah, it always depends, and it's hard to name stuff.
Absolutely. One other question, I was just thinking, like, and you might not be able to share today, but like, are you going to maybe be sort of talking about any new things with QCLI, things around the corner, like folks attending, are they going to get to kind of, I guess, sort of see like the aha things? Not that QCLI doesn't already have aha things, but
I would say, so we're coming out with new stuff all the time. And so I'm sure that if there's an announcement that comes out that is worth like feeding in, like I've said before, I'm pretty fluid with my presentation. So even if we're notified about a new feature or thing the day before my presentation, I promise you we will adjust it. We purposely made our slides pretty like generic so that we can go down and talk about whatever people want to know about. And I would expect more announcements. I don't have exact things, but this is a very hot spot at AWS. And so I would definitely expect some new stuff. And you don't really have to know. I mean, I would recommend having some experience with a coding companion. You don't have to be a CLI expert. We go through it. All of my sessions I've been starting, or my demos for customers, I've started saying that I feel like a high school teacher. Like I just give almost the same lecture like 5 times a day, but I have certain things that I touch on every time. And just like everybody else has mentioned, we'll start at a level where everyone is kind of ramping up together. So
yeah, this has been a hot topic for so many customers I've been talking to this year. I don't know the rest of you seen that as well, but
yeah, probably. Deepti has. I talked with one of Deepti's customers.
Yes, all the time. I do those presentations every day, the demos of Q Developer, almost every day. Yes.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I've just found is just universally useful, which I think is why there's so many conversations around it.
Yeah. It's really changing the way we work all together. Like this is a very exciting space.
Mm-hmm.
And fun.
So,
Yeah, exciting
in fact,
times
one
for
of my
sure.
customers just built a game using Q Developer. How cool is that?
Like
We
like a
Yes,
game?
a
Oh,
game.
that's cool.
Yes, and he plays that during his, sometimes to offset his mood while he's working. So he just showcased that to some of us a couple of days ago in our office.
I love that. I love it.
On
Um,
the network security
oh,
side too, like we have customers that were demoing to us like what they've been doing with QCLI to help them just basically accelerate their migrations. Like they ask, what are some of best practices or get me started? How should I think about, migrating or building up in a new region? So yeah, it's everywhere.
yeah, it's everywhere, and it's been very fun to like dive into this. I also use Q to build, like I actually demo the thing that I'm working on right now. So I just like build a little in my demos and like just try to keep working on it. But Fridays, I call it my play day because I have my afternoon blocked like from management. I'm supposed to sit down and make sure that I can kind of keep up with all of this. So I really love it. We here's a comment from Schizophrenic Web Dev who joins us sometimes. Can we build a cloud provider like AWS using Spectrum development with Kiro? I think that would be a large endeavor, but you could do anything. I mean, Sophia was just kind of talking about how do you plan out your networking and things like that. So I feel like the answer is actually yes. It's just how much time do you want to spend on it?
Yeah, yes, asterisks.
Yeah. Cool. So I hope I get to see some of you there. Also want to point out that I generated this image with Nova. So you can tell that it's definitely GenAI because they always mess up the words. So I told him it was about Q and Kiro, and this is what I got on the chalkboard. So anyways.
Nice.
Okay. Cool. We can keep talking about Q, but let's go to the next one. We're down to like 15-ish minutes in our show. Jane, rounding us out, a little something different.
Yeah, pulling up at the end. So so basically, I'm here to talk about the Builders Fair, which I'm not actually going to be presenting a project this year at Builders Fair. So my role is a little different, but I am a mentor. So basically, I am part of our Builder Fair core team. So we're the team that's helping coordinate the projects, selecting the projects. And for those of you who aren't at AWS, like this is one of those fun things that gets very competitive just because everybody wants to build a project and present at Builder Fair because it is like basically a science fair for grownups. We're building things all the time, but this is really like the challenge is how can you build something using AWS services? And it's useful, but at the same time, you're doing something that's kind of like, I'm showing it in a different way. For example, last year at reInvent, I know we had a coworker of mine. He did a project that was AI on tap, and it was going to tell you what your best beer would be, for example. So things of that nature. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jane Ridge. I'm a senior solutions architect. I've been with AWS about 5 years. And I work with customers in the SMB space, just like Deepti does. And so work with customers across all verticals. But that's my day job. And then my side job is working with Builder Fair projects. So I told you what it is. It's kind of think of, that science fair lens. Where is it? So this is not just like one session that you sign up for. So this one's a little bit different than what we were talking about with Chalk Talks and Builder Sessions. So you can find this, it's going to be on the expo floor. And the expo is this giant section. When you go to the Venetian, you'll see registration and all kinds of other things. But if you go downstairs, if you stay upstairs, you'll see the escalator. you'll want to go upstairs and you'll see where there's partner areas, and you'll see demos, you see specialists, and we have a whole section that just says Builder Fair. So basically look for the Builder Fair signs. And we will have projects Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday being presented. And the cool thing is, if you come by Monday or Tuesday, those projects will then get flipped around, and we will have new projects on Wednesday and Thursday. So you could come multiple times and see a bunch of different things. And you don't have to register, you just show up. And just see what catches your eye. You're going to see games, you're going to see things that you can have hands-on, either physically, or you can see something being created. A lot of it is going to be something that you could interact with, very quickly. So if you just want to quickly see, I want to see this in action, you don't have to stand there 30 minutes or anything like that. And then a lot of these teams who are building this are going to show you, like, what are the products, what are the services they're driving it. So if you're like, I want to understand how you built this, then they would love to talk with you about that and dive deeper on our services.
Yeah. So just a couple of adding on to that. So PDO says Builders Fair is always fun. Like, it's so much. Look at this guy right here. Like, he's wearing like a little costume. This was Jane's project. So it's very cool. And here is a link to our Builders Fair compilation video from last year. So you can check that out, see Jane. That's where Jane met She Builds, I think, and that's why Jane is here today. She also organized the Builders Fair at Reinforce. So it comes full circle. So
yeah. Well, and just fun fact on the alien costume guy, like I met him at Reinforce last year, and he had a really cool escape room project. So the idea, like, you were escaping aliens, and it involved AI where you were like trying to give it instructions and all kinds of things. But he was going around in that costume as well, and people, of course, everybody wanted to come up and see what was going on with that.
Yeah, there's definitely some flashy, fun stuff going on there that we should definitely go check it out.
Yeah, and I'll say too, like, of course, there's going to be a lot of focus on GenAI this year, but there's a lot with security services, and even though it is for fun, what I've seen is it does allow you to think about, like, hey, how could I take this project and maybe even do something like myself, but tweak it a bit. Like, if it has a security focus, how could I use this in my own environment? I'm thinking we had an example at Reinforce of a project where people are looking at, taking pictures of, sensitive data, and then how you could have some automation around obfuscating that. Like, that could be like a real world example, but they were having fun with how they were showcasing that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just a couple of comments it looks like I missed from the chat. Marcus Aurelius says that Kiro Q sounds like a Japanese product. Naming is hard. That's what we talked about. It's hard. I don't actually know where either of those names came from, and I think it's funny that the image that was generated kind of combined them. And then Mira Shine is asking if we're going to have a hands-on demonstration to talk about, showing what we just talked about. If that was for me, for the QCLI, I'm going to dip into that actually in our session next week, in our episode next week, same time, same place. So you can see some custom agents in QCLI next week. And in the Chalk Talk, we're also going to have a demo. So demos make it more interesting, a little more fun than slides, in my opinion. So, and then I think the builder sessions too, those would definitely, I mean, it's not a demo, but you'll get to see it properly working. So.
Yeah, with builder session, you actually get hands-on in the workshop and try things out yourself.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, and I will say for the network security track, like this, the session that I covered is kind of like, covers everything that we've launched recently and we will be launching, but then we have workshops that you can, get hands-on. And network security director, I think, should also have a builder session as well. So yeah, you can absolutely get hands-on.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I really love about reInvent, is that you do have the opportunity to learn. Like, you can go take your certifications if you want to. If you've been postponing that, don't, just give it a try. But you can do it while you're there in Vegas. There's tons of workshops. We used to even have just like open labs where you can go in your spare time and just go through like immersion day type of things. I don't remember if we have that because I'm an employee now and I'm not allowed to do that. So I love reInvent because it really leans into one of our taglines, I guess: work hard, have fun, make history. That's one of my favorite things. Like, we work so hard during the day, we learn so much, and then it's fun stuff. So the nighttime in Vegas is super fun. The replay party, oh my gosh, if you haven't been to reInvent before, and you're even remotely interested in music or dodgeball and silly stuff, you should go to the replay party. It's on
roller skating last year too, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Last year was roller skating. I've seen, like, what else? There were swings and stuff last year. Like, I'm trying to think of all of the different things that I've seen there. It's usually silliness though. Like, I love a ball pit. One year there was a grown-up ball pit.
There's a slide also, right?
Oh,
I forget what it's called.
yeah. So someone was talking, Jane mentioned go up by the escalators, and I was like, you mean the slide? Datadog has a slide.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I forgot about that. That was so cool last year.
Yeah, you should go down the slide. It's very fun. As long as they have it. I think they had it the last 2 years. So if they have a slide, you should try it. Vivek agrees. Replay was amazing. Last year, what was it? It was Weezer and Major Lazer, or am I mixing up? I don't know. I might be mixing up years. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Datadog. I was kind of looking for my slide or my picture. I don't know where it is. I've moved, but anyways, lots and lots of fun stuff. So it was Zed. I was corrected in our private chat. Zed was definitely there one year. Portugal the Man, love that. So there's usually like some EDM and some like alternative sort of stuff. So I'd say that's probably my biggest tip, is save energy for replay party. That's Thursday. Drink so much water. Don't forget your chapstick. Those are kind of my
comfortable shoes.
Yeah, double pairs of shoes, all those sorts of things.
I think one thing I would say too, like, don't if you're not going to absorb it all, right? Like, don't feel like you've got to memorize everything. It's a long week. Yeah. It is a long week. So I think part of it is just kind of thinking, okay, I'm learning a little bit and it will come back later. Like, I can always circle back, but don't feel like you have to just, like absorb, but then have fun too.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Sophia, do you have any advice? What would
I was also going to say, like, don't skimp on breakfast, because you never know. You're jumping in between sessions. You might not have a chance for lunch. So that's one of my learnings, is like, anytime I see food, I just grab it just in case.
That's a great call. I keep granola bars in my bag too, on top of that, because you just don't know. Sometimes you miss lunch, or, it's hard. And then Deepti,
Yeah, a couple of things. There is something called as Ask the Expert session, like desks all over. Like, there is a specific space in the expo hall. So that would be a great place for you to stop by and ask any questions you might have. No question is small or big or complex or simple. Just go ask if you have any questions. Number 2 is to look for networking. So if you are out there, make friends, like, talk to everyone, try to grasp and get the contacts in. So more like that always helps. The third major thing is about keynotes. I know we haven't mentioned that in this show yet, but that's the big one. So look out for those announcements that go on in keynotes. So not everyone could get into keynotes, but you can always find the latest and greatest announcements coming out of AWS in these keynotes. And these are all recorded, and it's always there on YouTube later on.
That's what I was going to say. Those are live. When I was a customer, I would often watch the keynotes from my room, eating my breakfast, drinking my coffee. Like that's the way I did it. Yeah. So I think those are really important things. And if you are going to pick the keynote that I think is most important, sorry to have a favorite, it's Werner Vogel's. Go to his keynote. We have big splashy things and Matt Garman's like the CEO, but Werner, like that's the guy. So please don't miss his session. Any other, did everybody give a tip? Swapnil, did you give a tip?
I added mine early on that you should plan efficiently for the sessions. Like once you register in the AWS Invent app and you favorite your sessions that you're going to attend, make sure that you can actually get to them and you have planned accordingly.
Logistics. It's a hard thing. That's why I'd encourage you all to start going through the catalog now and kind of maybe hearting a few that you think are interesting. Like just start that now.
Yeah.
I think the schedule is supposed to drop like soon. I thought it was today. Let's say it's this week. Then you get seat reservations coming a couple of weeks later. And then I think there's usually a new version of the app in like November. So it's something like that. Just keep your head up and pay attention to those sorts of things because you do need to be prepared. Some of these sessions will absolutely fill up. And the logistics, goodness. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say that if you're not going to AWS reInvent yet and you want to get your manager's approval, there is also help from our event where you can send a snippet of why you should be there to your manager and get the approval.
And that is available on our AWS events. I don't have the link directly to that, but go and explore the reInvent website and start hearting some of those sessions you want to go to. I did see that the heroes are like the AWS heroes have come up with the recommended sessions that they want to go to based on their areas of interest. So you can go ahead and check those out too. Cool. Well, we are just about out of time. We are down to 2 minutes. So I think that we'll probably need to drop. I didn't ask which session was your favorite because I'd be like picking your favorite kid. I know everyone watching this loves all of us. So hopefully we don't have conflicting schedule and you can go see all of us. If you see us at reInvent, please come say hi. Connect with all of us on LinkedIn. The main thing I post is about QDev or She Builds. That's my work life. Next week, like I told you, I'll be talking about custom agents in QDeveloper. I'm trying to think of what we have. We have some upcoming episodes about QuickSight that are going to be pretty cool. And some more agent core stuff actually that's penciled in. So I really just know 1 or 2 weeks out. So I hope to see you again next week. And I hope to get my demo working. I'm sure it'll be fine, right? Thank you all for your time. Thank you so much to our guests for being here. I hope you had fun. And I hope the people watching learned a little something and are excited about reInvent.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for having us. See
Thanks.
y'all there, hopefully.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.